What's going on, shady people? Shady Penguinn here, and this is a very different kind of video. As you guys can see, there's no face cam or anything like that, but today I'm going to be doing a short tutorial on Adobe Premiere. Now, if you are a Let's Player, or you want to become a Let's Player, or you are interested in uploading video game content to YouTube, and you don't know what video editing program to use, let me advise you to please consider using Premiere. I've used Sony Vegas for the past year and a half of my time on YouTube, and honestly, I regret not switching to Adobe Premiere sooner. And I gotta admit that there are a couple things about Premiere that are a bit more frustrating and a little bit more, not clunky, but a little bit more niche that you have to get used to. But once you get used to it, the biggest advantage is the render times in Adobe Premiere. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you are doing this as a full-time career or as a hobby, whatever you may be doing, please consider just watching the rest of this video and learning what the differences are. I won't be going into Sony Vegas much, so if you have familiarity with Sony Vegas, I'm going to be referencing it a bit, but I'm going to try to keep this tutorial kind of simple and sweet, just the bare basics of video game editing on Adobe Premiere. Now, keep in mind, I mainly do Pokemon content, although I do other things, and I'm going to be using Pokemon content as the main example for this video. However, what I'm going to show you is going to be video gameplay and FaceCam. So if you need both of those things in any regard, this video will be a really big help for you, so please go ahead and show your support down below if you do find this video useful. So the first thing I want to say is one thing that really troubles a lot of people when they use Adobe Premiere is the fact that their audio desyncs. So what I suggest in the description, there is a link to a program called Handbrake. I'm going to pull up that program right now. This is what Handbrake looks like right here. Now, I got to make sure that my mouse is showing on the screen. Please forgive me as you see my XSplit open up. There we go. Sweet. So we have this program Handbrake here, and what this basically is going to do is to make sure the audio never desyncs. That was the biggest problem I had. Forgive the spelling error, faint attack, if you're watching this. I put fetin attacks on my video file, but just disregard that. So when you open up, let me open up Handbrake from scratch. This is what Handbrake looks like when you actually just open it up. There's no video file, nothing here. What you want to do is you want to grab your original video file. You guys can see here that I have FaceCam, and then I have FaceCam broken because I already broke this. Let me just extend that a little bit. I already broke this. So what you normally do is I only do it for my FaceCam because that seems to be the only thing I have a problem with desyncing audio. Plus for Pokemon videos, I don't really use the in-game audio often, so I don't have a need to do it. However, I advise that if you are recording long gameplay of any other game, Borderlands, Final Fantasy, doesn't matter what it is, you should pretty much always handbrake it to make sure that you don't have any audio desync. You want to do this before you even open Premiere, so please forgive me as I do this because I really think it's important. It can cause a lot of frustrations, and it's not necessarily Premiere's fault, but this can be one of the biggest reasons why people ditch Premiere. So this is an easy way to avoid it. It is an extra step, but trust me, the time you save on rendering, it's ridiculous. It's totally worth it. So you're going to take the video file you want to handbrake, you just drag it right over here, and you'll see it come up. It'll tell you what the aspect ratio is, and the only thing you really need to do is you need to hit large file size because you want to maintain the quality. Handbrake is a compression tool, but you want to maintain your quality. So, because this is not, this isn't the final video. You want to make sure that your source is as high quality as possible. So you want to have large file size, and then you want to go over to video, and you want to change this to constant frame rate. And what you want to do is you want to select, don't just do same as source. I advise that you don't do that because I think that it can still cause issues. Choose your frame rate. If you're doing 29.97, which is the most common in my opinion, basically it's 30 frames per second, but most video files will be 29.97. And if you want to figure out what you want to do it in, if you go ahead and right click and hit properties of your video file and go to details, you'll see this is 29 frames per second. So that's why I always choose 29.97, and you'll see later on in Adobe Premiere, that's what I render out in. So once you do that, you go ahead and you browse and you select your file, whatever you want to handbrake it, you'll hit save. And we'll not do that because I don't want to actually replace this. We'll just hit 2 after that. And then once you're ready, just hit start, and that's all you need to do. Once you do that, you'll have your video files that you'll be using in Adobe Premiere. Remember, this is a free program. Handbrake is completely free. Go ahead and check it out in the description. Now, I'm going to open up Adobe Premiere, and I have not done anything yet. I've not done anything yet. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Premiere. I'm going to hit new project right over here. So you're going to get a bunch of information. Realistically, you don't got to touch any of this. The only thing you really got to touch is title this. I'm going to do Wi-Fi battle versus faint attacks. And then I'm going to go ahead and browse and go over to my projects and go to live battles, faint attacks, and save it right here. So there we go. Did I do fetin attacks again? What the heck is going on with my brain? Faint attacks. So once you have this all set up, Scratch discs. This I just use the same as Proj. You guys can see that I have a lot of space available. Please make sure you have a lot of space available. You want to have a good amount of space available for your Scratch. Everything else, I do leave the same. I don't think it's important. This might be set to DV when you originally open up Adobe Premiere. I'll link in the description to this program will be in the description as well. Link to this program will be in the description as well. Select HD TV because it's just high quality. That's all it means. This is a paid for program. I believe it's $20 a month, $30 a month. Right now, I'm using the trial. So there's a 30-day trial. You can totally use it before you buy it. That's what I highly suggest. So here comes my trial. I'm going to continue my trial. Oh boy, yay. So right now, if you use Sony Vegas, this looks completely foreign. I remember when I first opened up Premiere, I ran away for like 4 months. I finally just started using it 2 weeks ago, and I'm never going to go back. So what you want to do is you want to, over on the bottom left over here, click your project, because this is import media to start. So all you want to do is you want to grab, for me, it's 2 video files, and I am going to go ahead and drag them in here. So once you drag them in there, you'll see that they'll load up, importing files, and they're going to load. The other thing that I'm going to drag in, this might not be for everyone, but I'm going to go to my resource file because I actually use some borders. I'm going to go ahead and drag that in. And let me go ahead and get my shortened outro and drag that in as well. So this is all I need for when I edit my Wi-Fi battles. So I'm gonna go ahead and just save really quick. Save often. You know, only you can prevent lost save data. Hashtag copyrighted the King Nappy. But we're gonna go ahead and start with dragging our FaceCam in, and the reason why, actually, nope, I'm gonna start by dragging my FaceCam in. Now, what's important to note in Adobe Premiere is the first file you drag in is gonna set your sequence, which is basically your project in my opinion. It's going to set your sequence format. So if you drag a 1080p video into here first, it's going to change the project settings to 1080p. If you drag a 720p video in here first, it's going to have 720p. So I'm pretty positive I recorded my FaceCam in 720p. I'm actually just going to make sure really quick because I don't want to mess this up. I cleaned up my desktop for you guys. Hope you appreciate that. Shady Penguinn projects, live battles, ba-da-ba-da-ba, forgive me. All right, 720p, awesome, sweet. So we can go ahead and drag that in there. We're going to drag our FaceCam in here first, and you'll see it'll come over, bam. Now you have all of these tracks. Now, this is the most frustrating part, in my opinion. Look at that. This is the most frustrating part, in my opinion, to Adobe Premiere is the track setup, but it's so worth dealing with. It's really not that bad once you get used to it. Please give it a chance. So you go ahead, you'll have your FaceCam on here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my Wi-Fi border as well because my Wi-Fi border is what I base my FaceCam sides off of. So as you can see, now we have this border on my video. I'd say the first thing you want to do before you edit anything is sync up your audio. Now, for me, what I do when I sync up my audio is I record my FaceCam separately and I record my my GamePlay separately. I use my Logitech software to record my FaceCam, and then I have my XSplit software. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and drag in my GamePlay video as well. Now you guys can see right away my GamePlay video is on top. It's going to be going to V2 instead of V1. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to move this up and move this down one. So now we can see that we have V3. Like, you basically want to look at it like a cake. So you have your frosting, which is going to be my border. Then you have your FaceCam, which is going to be the cake, and then the cream of the video is going to go ahead and be the actual gameplay. So that's going to be sandwiched right in there. So now you can see, you can't see the gameplay yet, obviously, but like I said, the first thing you should do is you should go ahead and sync up your audio. So if you go over to here, you can see where my mouse is to the right of the screen. You're going to want to subtract this. You're going to drag your mouse down, and now you can see the audio. You can actually see the audio files. So just like in Vegas, your video and your audio is linked up for now. If you ever want to unlink it, don't worry, I'll show you how to do that in a bit. But what I want to do is I want to line up these audios. So in order to zoom in, what you do is you hold down Alt and you scroll forward with your wheel. So go ahead and scroll forward till you're really close on there, and then you can see this bottom bar down here is how you scrub or scroll on your actual track. So I'm gonna try my best to line this up. Now, you can see that sometimes it won't move, how it's going 0.1011. I want to zoom in even more. You can get really, really close with this, and I like to because I like to make sure that my audio is synced up with my gameplay. Obviously, that's one of the most important things, in my opinion. You don't want to be commentating on your video and something not happen for another 3 seconds. So you can see here, this looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. You guys might not be able to hear it. You might be able to. I'm not sure. Check 1 2. That sounds pretty good. I'm actually gonna try to get it a tiny bit closer. We can see that this top clip is not synced up with the other top clip. Now that looks check 1 that looks pretty much pristine. So the reason, and just so you guys know, the way I do this is I make sure that my mic is unmuted in both obviously my FaceCam software and then my XSplit. So that way both files share this, and it makes syncing audio really, really, really easy for gameplay. So once you have that, The next thing that unfortunately is not as easy in Premiere as in Vegas, or it is easy, but it just a lot of people don't know it. So right over here to the left, you have all your tools. This is your razor tool. The hotcut key for that is hitting C on your keyboard. Make sure you're in your sequence, and then you hit C, and you'll go ahead and go over to your razor tool. What I want to do is right here is where my video starts. I can tell by the audio peak. So I'm going to go ahead and cut right there and right there. So now that I have the start of my video, I want that at the beginning. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool. Shortcut is V, and I'm going to delete by clicking on the section that I already sectioned off. You can see that it's not going for any further. And then I'm going to click it, make sure it's white, and I'm going to hit delete. Make sure it's white, hit delete. There you go. And now I can go ahead and I'm going to zoom back out just to make sure that I get it all the way at the beginning. And I am going to drag it all the way over here. And there we go. So now my audio is all synced up, and my video, let's hit play.
What's going on, Shady?
And it starts right where I want it to, right when I'm saying what's going on. So we have that there. Now, of course, comes the next step in making the face cam and putting it where you want it to put. Now, just keep in mind, my Wi-Fi border is a simple border, but if you have a layout for your video, it works the same exact way. You go ahead and you slap your layout on the very top track. And if you ever want to add new tracks, because I'm going to have to at some point for this video, but I'll go ahead and let you know right now. If you right-click over in this area, add track will come up. So if you want a new visual track or video track, go ahead and do that. Bam, there's a new one right there. I'm gonna leave it there for now. And if you want a new audio track, same exact thing down there. So now that we have all of our audio synced up, the next thing I need to do is I need to make this face cam actually smaller. Now, very, very, very important. If you go over here to the left, you'll see effects. This is where you're gonna spend most likely the rest of your editing until you get to the end if you have an outro to add. So this is where you might as well just keep that tab open. Just keep it open, enjoy it, it's there. You can look at it. And what I'm gonna wanna do is make this smaller. Now, what's really cool is if you've ever used Vegas, they have the motion tracking, which Premiere has as well, but they've also simplified it a bit. What you're gonna wanna do is if you've added your layout like I have, you're gonna wanna lock it by clicking this lock button right here. So once you've locked it, go ahead and double click on your video, right? Just literally click on the video and you can see that it's selecting it. You can see down here that Fenton attacks, take notes, face cam broken is what's selected right now. So literally, if I just drag it like this, that's the face cam. That's literally the face cam. It's that easy to edit. I'm gonna put it down over here and it's gonna be hard for people to see the sticky note on my head, like what it says. So hopefully they'll be questioning it the entire time. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right down here where I want it to be. Don't worry about anything that's sticking out just yet. We're gonna take care of that in a little bit. So I'm gonna make sure that it's as lined up as possible. I'm gonna scrub quick through my video just to make sure that my face is generally centered in that area, which it is. Looks good, looks good. Really quick, I'm gonna go ahead and extend this border all the way through the length of the battle so that I can just do it a little bit better. Do it a little bit better than what is going on. So we can see for the most part, my face is in there where I want it to be. That's fantastic, awesome. So let's go back to the beginning. Now, obviously we have this giant section ejecting from the face cam box that I want to be stuck in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to effects. We're in effects panel right here. We're gonna search and we're gonna search for crop. So I do already have a preset for my face cam, but I'm gonna go ahead and drag this crop effect. So underneath video effects transform, you can literally just search, there's crop. I'm gonna drag it right on top of my face cam. So now up on top, you'll see effect controls pops up on the upper left hand side. And this is why it seems a little confusing. Vegas has a whole new window come up, but this is already here for us. So we'll go over a couple of the things that I do. So crop to the left, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type, I don't know what the exact measurement is yet, but I'm gonna type 20. We can see that I need to take a little more. So it's more than 20%, so let's go 25%. It's a little bit more than 25%, so let's go 25.5. It looks to be a little bit more, so let's go 26. And there we go, we can see there's absolutely nothing coming out of the box. And now that I'm zoomed in, I'm gonna go ahead, oh, hold on. I didn't mean to do that. So let's edit that again. Go back to, and literally, you can see the effect controls. You just need to click on your tracks underneath your actual video, and it just changes immediately for you. It's really convenient. So we're gonna go back to 26, but what I wanna do is I'm gonna relock my Wi-Fi border, and I'm gonna move myself over just a little bit more. Let's scrub through to make sure. I wanna go up a little bit more, actually. That looks better. Okay, so something I do want you to keep in mind while you're editing and while you're previewing your video, Adobe Premiere, for some reason, the preview is really, really, really crappy. It's really bad, but trust me, the finished product is amazing. If you doubt that, I'll leave a link in the description to this actual video and you guys can see what the finished product looks like for the for the end audition. So now we can see we're a little bit more over in the box. So we're going to increase this to 27%, which looks fine. And we're going to increase the top. Now that I'm jetting out of the top, we're going to increase this to 2%. And there you go. Locked in this box. Good to go. Absolutely fantastic. Now, this is going to be a little tip. Normally, if you have a different kind of gameplay, if this is just your, what do I want to call it? Your gameplay, and say it's a full screen Final Fantasy, it's already 1080p or 720p, and you don't have this double screen issue. This next part that we're going to go over for just a couple minutes is just extra info if you ever decide to play 3DS games. So when I record my 3DS games, I record it just like this. It looks wacky, it looks funky, whatever. So clearly, what the steps that are going to need to be taken are we're going to need to crop this video because we're going to want to crop the bottom screen out because we want just the top screen for the majority of this video. So what we're going to do is we have a crop. We're going to go ahead and drag it right over here. So now that we have crop, what's really, really convenient for editing 3DS gameplay, this really isn't going to take long, is you know that the bottom screen is 50% of the video. So all you need to go for crop, go to the bottom, hit 50%, done, boom, gone. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do for that part. It's cropped, it's fantastic, it's great. So now what we can do is we're going to lock our FaceCam as well, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our very best to make this look presentable. Now, what you guys can see happening right now is when I go to just make it taller because I want it to fit this box, it's locked into its aspect ratio, so it's not going to let us. So what you want to do is over in your effects, you're going to drop down motion, and you can see how it says uniform scale. You're going to uncheck that. You're going to uncheck that like you've never unchecked anything before, and then you're going to drag up. Look at that, just like that. Make sure the blue line, you want to line it up as best you can. You can see that there's still a little bit of, well, actually that's my border. I believe that black line that you guys see is actually my border. Yes, because it's still there. So you just want to make sure the blue line is lined up at the edge of your project, just like that. And then you can go ahead, you can see we can't see the bottom part to do it, to finish this up. So instead of doing fit right down here, select zoom level, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to 50%. That's not enough, so I'm going to bring it to 25%. So now it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but we're going to go ahead and keep dragging this down. You can see that it's still doing it in a, it's still keeping the center. So what you want to do is drag, and then I hold down the arrow key just to be safe. I don't want to do it too much. And then you just want to kind of just have a good guesstimate, get that top line measured up without cutting anything off on the bottom. So I can see I need to make it a tiny bit smaller. So let me get a tiny bit smaller. We'll go ahead and I think that it should be good to go around there. That looks pretty good. You can see there's no more black line being edited, and bam, just like that, you have your 3DS top screen gameplay. We can go ahead and go back to fit. There we go. Looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. So what you want to do now is you don't want to have to do that every single time. You don't want to have to do that every single time. So all you want to do is on your position, go ahead and click on motion, because that's the actual effect you can see right here. We can turn it off and it'll go back to normal. We can turn off crop and it won't matter because the bottom screen is off it, but I like to crop it off because I believe it helps in rendering. Go ahead and you can see we can just turn that off. If you right click right here on motion, you can save your preset, and you can just save FaceCam. For me, I do 3DS top screen motion setting. So now every time you can go ahead and hit OK, it'll save it in your presets right here. So we'll get rid of the search, and these are all my presets right here. So we just saved 3DS motion cropping. So just to prove a point, I'm gonna go ahead and click this right here, which will reset the entire effect. And now all I have to do is take this preset, drag it on top of our gameplay, and it happens just like that. So you won't have to worry about actually doing it every single time because you have that preset saved once you do it the first time. So you can do the same thing for your cropping with your FaceCam. I choose not to because my FaceCam, I move around a lot and it might change. I might not always want it in the same area. I might not always want to have the same exact crop, but you can always just go ahead, unlock yours, click on your FaceCam, and you can right click and save your crop preset. I do have one, but I usually end up having to change it anyway. That's what I mean by that effect. So this is generally how you edit your gameplay videos. For 3DS, that's the top screen. Otherwise, you won't need that whole extra cropping step, but the crop tool is very, 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 very self-explanatory. Just increase the percent from left, top, right, and bottom, however you want to crop it, and it usually works out really, really, really well. Now, something else that a lot of people like to do is color correction to their gameplay. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and give you all of my color correction settings because that just seems kind of crazy, but I will tell you the very best color correction tools that you can use I have them. I have my presets right over here. You have the 3-way color corrector. I use that for saturation. Shout outs to Cody, because Cody gave me a lot of tips in Premiere. Clouded, he's a really good friend of mine. He really did. Something else. We'll just go over color correction really quick. So the 3-way color corrector is really, really good. I use the Lumetri effect. If you go ahead and search Lumetri, you'll see that's a really good color correction as well. So you can find all your color correction needs. Basically, you can go underneath video effects, adjust. We'll have a bunch of stuff. There's literally everything over here. Transform, utility. There's just so much stuff. The best thing to do if you want to look for color correction, just type in color, and then you get all your color correction. Brightness, contrast, change the color, channel mixture, color, balance, equalize, leave color, luma color, all this stuff that you can totally mess with and have a lot of fun. And that's the most fun part for me, is figuring out color correction that I like. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply mine really quick to my gameplay, just so you guys can see what kind of effect it has. Some of this stuff isn't finalized though, so that's another reason why I don't want to. I like to darken my video, I like to saturate it a bit, and I like to brighten it a bit at the same time. So that's generally, that's not exactly what I use, to be honest. It's not exactly what I use. Another thing that a lot of people like to use is sharpen, and sharpen's a good thing. So we're gonna go ahead and go to sharpen and see how this looks, because I've actually started recording my videos a bit differently, and we'll see what sharpen actually does for us. Let's see, let's bring sharpen up to 50. That's way too sharp. That's way too sharp. Let's try 20. And then you can go ahead, and if you ever want to see the difference, like you can go ahead and we're just going to turn off levels, and you can see the difference just by hitting that effect button. It's that easy just to see how much of an effect it has. So like you sharpen, you can see sharpen has a pretty harsh effect pretty quickly. I'm only going to bring it up to 10, and I think that's where I'm going to sit. Yeah, I believe that's where I'm gonna sit. 10 looks really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and leave my sharpen at 10. And because I actually have to edit this video, so I'm just gonna actually just completely edit it. You know what, might as well 2 birds, 1 stone. I have my levels like kind of screwed up right now. I like to bring this back down. I like to reset the effect and bring it back down to 70. I don't like the blue tint that I used to have on it. Actually, I like a little bit of a blue tint. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you my color corrections. We're gonna bring this up to 105, just to give it a nice little blue glow, because blue is a soft color. 3-way color corrector. I might have actually grabbed the wrong presets. FaceCam, levels, Wi-Fi battle screen, levels, Wi-Fi battle. I'm not sure which one is the most recent. Probably actually this one. Let's go ahead and delete this levels and put these levels right there. All right, cool, sweet. So that looks almost exactly the same. Actually, I think it's exactly the same. All right, cool. So that's gonna be our color correction for this video. I'm gonna go ahead. I always color correct my FaceCam as well. You guys will see a huge difference once I drag my did I save FaceCam levels? I don't think I did. Well, we'll go ahead and do Wi-Fi battle levels then. Right there, but it's too blue, so we're gonna reset, and all I do is decrease my gamma, because I feel as though it adds some really nice depth to it. And then I have my FaceCam sharpen that I throw on there. Bah! All right, sweet. So I'm gonna save that, because I'm actually doing my work right now. Now, something that a lot of people struggle with in Premiere is fades. They think that everything is super complicated. This is huge. All credit to Clouded. He showed me this. Literally, all you have to do to fade, all you have to do if you want to just do a simple fade, a simple clean fade, right click. You see this red thing? It comes up. Right click, and all you do is hit apply default transitions. So I'm gonna do that for all of my layers, and now it's dark, and now when we hit play, what's going on, shady people? It fades in, and if you want to adjust the fade, simply hold down Alt and scroll up to zoom in, and you'll see the cross dissolve right here. So I like my FaceCam to fade in a lot faster than everything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it half the time by bringing it to 15, just like that. And now when we hit play, what's going on, shady people? Shady penguinn. There we go. It fades in. Like I said, you guys can see the preview looks really bad, but this is what the final video actually looks like right here. When you have this clarity, it looks beautiful. Something else I need to do personally is in Pokemon, if you don't play Pokemon, it doesn't matter, but there's a team preview. I need to go ahead very quickly because sometimes I forget this. I'm gonna go to this black screen. I need to get my razor tool, cut my, actually, okay, so you can see right there, all I wanna do is fix my video. All I wanna do is fix my video. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my selector tool. I'm gonna right click on my GamePlay, and because I don't wanna chop up my game audio. I'm not gonna use it, but I don't wanna chop it up. So I'm gonna unlink, right click, unlink, and that's gonna go ahead and unlink the gosh darn things. So now that it's unlinked, I'm gonna chop it up right here, and I'm gonna find my other point where the game screen changes, just just like this, and I'm going to chop that up as well. So now this middle part, right now it shows the top screen, but I want it to show the bottom screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and click it. We're gonna have the motion effects. I'm gonna reset this, and I already have my presets, but it's the same exact way as if you want to do the bottom screen. Your cropping, I'm gonna reset this. Instead of cropping 50% from the bottom, I'm gonna crop 50% from the top, just like that. And I already have my preset for my motion. You see it down here, motion, Wi-Fi battle, 3ds bottom screen. I'm gonna drag that right there, and there we go. Simple as that. Got my team on there as I'm discussing it in the video, and it just flawlessly changes. So I'm gonna save really quick because I'm getting kind of far in this editing process, and I like it. So now that we have this, something that I do at the end of my videos is I expand my face cam. Is from having outside of the box, but you guys pretty much probably already gotten everything that you need to get out of this. So if you want to leave right now, I really appreciate if you leave a like down below and share this video so more people can go to the power of Premiere, but I have not gotten to my render settings yet, so if you want to stick around, you can. I'm just going to finish editing this up. So we can see, spoilers, I win this battle, and at this point is where I like to make my face cam take over the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a track right above V2. So I'm going to right click on V2 and do add track. So now a track gets added right in there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit C in order to select my razor tool, and I'm going to chop this right here. I'm also going to chop this and this. So everything is gonna be chopped. You guys can see I'm gonna undo that by holding down Control and hitting Z. I just wanna make sure that my face cam is unlinked with the audio so I don't chop it, as you guys just saw that I did. So we're gonna go ahead and do what I just stated, chopping that up. Now I'm gonna wanna drag, actually, I guess you actually don't need a new track. I think it's just something that I did in Premiere, because unfortunately, when I take this and I just put it right here, Sony Vegas just makes an automatic fade, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. So now that it's chopped up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click, apply default transition. I'm going to right click as well, make sure the red is facing to the right. I'm gonna zoom in a bit more to make sure. Oh, actually, it's automatically got that default transition. It's gonna fade. It's gonna fade just like that. So what I wanna do here is I need to change my motion and my crop because I don't want it to, I'm gonna delete this track for now because I don't believe we need it. Delete track. I am going to go ahead and make this, instead of being face cam, I want it to be full screen. So I'm gonna reset my motion and I'm going to reset my crop. And we can see that I have this black bar on top, interestingly enough. I don't really know why. Oh, probably because my motion, I actually don't know why it's like that. Interesting. But right now you guys can see that I'm moving my Wi-Fi border. That is exactly what I don't want to do. That's why I usually always keep that locked so that doesn't happen. But now I'm going to click this and see if that moves. It doesn't move. I'm really, this is good though. This is good running into a problem live because I want to know why this happened. So I'm going to lock everything else except for my face cam. So let's lock this. Oh, I locked the wrong thing. That's why. So now that I have this, can I move you? I'm going to move you. So for some reason, I'm missing like a giant chunk on top of my audio, of my video. That's really weird. So for now, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna expound this. It's in lock aspect ratio, so everything's gonna be fine. It's locked, it's good to go. There we go, 1, 2, 3. I can see that my Wi-Fi border definitely did move as well. So I'm gonna unlock it and bring it back down a couple notches. There we go, that's better. But obviously this is not the border that I want for this part of the video. So I'm gonna delete this Wi-Fi border. I'm gonna go over to my, video, and I'm gonna get my widescreen border, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Right click, apply default transitions, and now it should fade flawlessly. Just like that. That's fantastic. I'm gonna delete this part of my gameplay because I no longer need it because I have a giant face cam.
It's a fun game. Like I said, make sure you guys go check him out.
You guys can see that little weird fade there. There are ways to go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen, but I actually don't mind it. I kind of like it. It's like a little blink. So I'm gonna leave it in there. It's something that I kind of like. So if you don't like that, tough noogies. And you can do a fade in a different way by adding another track, putting this part on top, and then doing a cleaner fade where you'll just have this video fade over as opposed to having this video fade out and then this video fade in. You can have this video, basically all you'd have to do is right click, add new track, bring this face cam up and bring it over, right click, apply default transition, and now it's gonna fade in. I'm gonna bring my crosses up over, so now it'll look like this.
Like I said, make sure you guys go check him out.
So there's not that blink. But I did just totally mess up my audio. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo all of that.
He's a great.
There we go, now it's back to matching. So that's pretty much the gist of how I edit my Wi-Fi battles and how you can edit regular gameplay with FaceCam. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this over. The only other thing I have is an outro, so that's why I need that track on top. I'm gonna delete this track though. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my outro right here. It's short, it's sweet. And it's supposed to come in right when I say shady, which is right there.
shade.
And there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit C to get my scissor tool again, as long as I'm selecting something in my sequence. And I'm going to chop everything up exactly where I chopped that up, just like that. I'll leave my other audio. That's my actual keep it shady outro. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply default transition and have it fade out so it sounds a lot smoother than not.
Bit shady.
And there you go. And that's basically the entire video edited. That's how long it takes to edit a video of mine. I am gonna just adjust my face cam a tiny bit at the end of this. I'm really curious as to why I'm missing a chunk on top of my face cam, but it really doesn't matter at this point. So that's the basic editing process. There we go. Boom. 20-minute video. All right. Sweet banana pants. We go to the beginning just to make sure everything's copacetic.
What's going on, shady people? Shady Penguin welcoming you back to another Pokemon Omega Ruby.
And everything looks copacetic. We have the in-game audio. Really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and render this out. I'm going to show you guys the process. I actually add music, but to add music, all you really have to do is find your music, users, actually music for videos. Shout out to Glitch City. Her remixes are fantastic. We go ahead and get whatever songs we want to have. I'm going to select 6 songs. I think that's all I'll need. We'll go all Johto for this one. And I'm actually gonna do this. I wasn't going to, but adding music in Adobe is a bit different than in Vegas. So I'm actually gonna go through this process. We're gonna zoom in again. Remember I said you're gonna go ahead and grab that scroll bar and zoom in so you can see things. I wanna get rid of the in-game audio, which is audio track 1. So I'm just gonna click it and delete it. And there we go.
What's going on, shady
Now we
people?
just have our
Shady Penguin
commentary.
welcoming you.
I'm gonna go ahead and add my in-game audio. I'm gonna add my songs right down on audio track 3. Boom shakalaka. We have all our songs here. You guys can see. Now what you want to do, at least what I want to do, if you just want to have them play like that, I don't like any dead sounds. I like to just make sure they overlap a little bit first. I'm going to overlap them all a little bit to make sure that there's no dead silence throughout the video. In the background, it looks like we have one extra song. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. And now in between all of these, I'm going to right click, apply default transition, apply default transition, apply default transition, and guess what? Apply default transition. And now all of them fade into one another. However, the audio is extremely loud on all of these. So what you want to do is you can see if you hover over that skinny little bar, I'm actually going to zoom in right here. If you hover over this skinny little bar here, you'll see that it has the decibel level. If you go ahead and click it and drag it down, I like to bring my background music to around -24.
I'm not going for sticky web, considering I have absolutely nothing to stop it.
That sounds pretty good. I'm gonna bring it up to 20. What am I at right now? 26. I like to go up. I'm gonna go to 24.
It's gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad. Sticky web is gonna wreck shop.
All right, so we're gonna go to 24. We're gonna bring all of these down. Unfortunately, it's not as easy in Vegas where you can just bring a track down. At least when I try to do it over here in my audio clipper, it doesn't work. For example, like you can see, it jumps back up. So I just do it manually like this. It's a little bit of a longer process, but trust me, the time you save on rendering is ridiculous. So we're gonna zoom in, make sure that our music ends when our outro ends, which will be a little bit after, like right there. We'll hit C to get our eraser tool. We just clipped that. It's kind of off the screen, but you guys can see that it's gonna be separated. We'll scroll over a bit so we can select it, hit delete, and then apply default transition. I like to have my fade a bit longer. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm selecting my constant power dissolve and drag it over. So now we have a fade. And there you go. That actually ends up, I thought I just heard in-game audio. I did hear in-game audio. Ah, that's my in-game audio track there, but I actually really like using that. I'm gonna start using that sound. Oh my gosh. All right, we're discovering things. Sorry about that. I know this is a tutorial and everything, but I kind of like that, having that sound at the end of my video. I like that a lot. All right, so we're gonna keep that from now on. I really like having that in my videos. We're gonna save really quick so I don't lose that. That's really awesome. I might just export that as a sound. And everything's copacetic now. We have our songs are
Shady people, Shady Penguin
in the background.
Pokemon Omega Ruby.
The only other thing is if you stayed this far, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that what you should really do, and a lot of you guys probably do it in Vegas already, is make sure you do some sort of EQing to your vocals. So I have my audio presets right here. So really quickly before I forget, I'm just gonna drag them on top, and now my audio is gonna sound 1,000 times better.
What's going on, Shady people? Shady Penguin welcoming you back to another.
I'm not sure if you guys can hear the difference. I don't know if you guys can even hear my audio at all when I play it, to be honest, because I've never done something like this before, but hopefully you can hear it a little bit. This is basically a standard EQ. I'll show you the effects really quick because I'm sure I'm going to get asked about it anyway. Standard EQ, if you guys want to pause the video and take a look at it, you can. That's what I use right there for my standard EQ, and then my single band compressor. This, I just use the voiceover preset and it works out perfect. So that's the entire video editing process. I know this has been kind of a lengthy tutorial. I hope you guys found it useful though, but we're not done just yet. There's no rendering per se in Adobe Premiere. What you do is you go to File and you export, but the only thing, you see how nothing is selectable, and this happens all the time for me. You want to make sure that your blue box is around this, that you're selecting your sequence right now. So you go File, Export, Media, or Control M is your shortcut for that. So now we're brought to this screen. Everything should pretty much be where you need it to be. I need to change my output file by clicking on that blue name. It's the blue name of the file. I'm gonna go ahead and select Live Battles, Faint Attacks, 225, and I like to add the word rendered, because it is rendered now. You can see that everything over here, your basic video settings should match your initial one. You can see my frame rate is 29.97, exactly what I had said before when I was talking about Handbrake. This is an 18-minute video in 9 seconds, 1280 by 720. If you ever want to change anything, you could just uncheck it and manually go in and change it. I will not be changing anything. Export audio, export video, because you're exporting everything. You're not just doing the audio. If there's ever a point where you just want to export a podcast, you can just export the audio. Use maximum render quality. Make sure that is selected, because that is very, 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 very good to select. Everything else I've left the same. Actually, something, if you want the highest quality, you want to render at maximum depth. But if your computer can't handle that, don't worry about it, because honestly, I forget to do that sometimes. So once you have that, you can go ahead and just hit export. And you can see for the audio files, it's already rendering out. It's gonna take a really, really, really quick amount of time. Really quick, we're gonna go ahead and wait it out and see just how long it takes. In the meantime, I wanna thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you found this Adobe Premiere tutorial even slightly useful for editing gameplay videos on YouTube, please go ahead and leave a like rating down below. Leave a comment, let me know if you have any questions at all. I would be happy to answer them. And I wish you all the best of luck in embarking on either this hobby, this career, whatever it may be for you. I really think Adobe Premiere can put you ahead of the game because the render times are that much shorter. For example, a quick story, not a story, a quick example. I do a series on YouTube with EQing Nappy called the Soul Link, and there's a total of 4 screens on there, 2 face cams, 2 gameplay videos from Pokemon Gold and Silver, and then a layout. Normally in Sony Vegas, a 45-minute episode takes for me around 2 to 3 hours to render, and I have a pretty decent PC. But in Adobe Premiere, it takes 22 minutes to render a 45-minute video with 4 screens. So you guys can see right now, this is a it's an 18-minute video, and it's gonna take less than 8 minutes to render. And that's with all the color correction, all the sharpening, dual screens, a border or a layout. Either way, it's not gonna affect it that much. And it's already on its way out. So I wanna thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get the heck out of here so that I can upload this as soon as this is done being uploaded. Like I said, I really appreciate all the support. If you guys have any other questions for Premiere, let me know. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to see me do more concerning any kind of background editing stuff that goes on in YouTube, I'd be happy to do it. Just leave your questions down below. I love you guys so much, but I'm gonna get the heck out of here. Have yourselves a good day, but above all else, keep it shady.